This way. Step and move, and see if you can keep the connection to the ground as you move. That's what we're looking to do. Filipino martial arts is about athleticism. It's about getting down low and moving. So that's what we have to remember. The movement. People who train with the weapon, all of you guys over here, we train with weapons. We understand that the weapons training gives us a great advantage from a perspective of attribute development. Timing, speed, line familiarization, spatial relationship, footwork, body mechanics, breathing. You know, these are the things that make the difference in a fight. So if there were secrets in martial arts, it's body mechanics, it's breathing, it's the sensitivity, the line familiarization, it's the person. You see, what makes the style is you. You're the person that puts the power to the style. You're the person that gets to honestly express yourself through the style. So what we're going to talk about today, we're going to get into some empty hands, talk about some good old-fashioned boxing, right? Talk a little bit about how we can use the Filipino hands of trapping, and then how do we counter some wrestling. We live in a culture today, we're heavily influenced with the UFC, that we have to be able to be prepared for somebody who grabs a neck, grabs a hold of your body. How are you going to deal with that? So we're going to talk about these things. Sound like a good idea? Okay, so the first thing is, come on in, let's talk about movement. Movement starts from the ground up, all right? So it's called muscle irradiation. So your ability to contract your muscles from the ground, coming up, and send the power and the force out is what it all comes down to. Oftentimes you see people, they might move and then you see arm punching, just arm punching. Or even with a stick, there's just the arm. But this, how do we get the whole body into it? Is there somebody with a stick here that I can just borrow? A little longer one, sir. Thank you, sir. All right, so with the stick, what are the benefits with the stick? If we look at how this is teaching me to move, right? It's teaching me to coordinate my shoulders and my hips. They move in a line, so I call it a box. The next thing you see is that when my elbow moves, my knee moves. So oftentimes we can just do stuff like this, but the body is not behind it. So to get the body behind it, it's the 6 box. So what I'd like everybody to do is get a stick and follow along. And these are universal principles of movement. Whether you're playing basketball, you're swinging a stick, you're swinging a baseball. This movement is important, and we got to get this movement down so that then we can put it into our boxing, so when we hit somebody, there's some damage. Your shoulders, hips, knees, and elbows move in a unit. You see, that's the idea. And then what happens? The weapon will follow. The weapon comes to my center line. We don't want to pass the center line, comes to my center line. Now from here, I start the movement again from my other hip as I close the center line. So just a simple X, you can express your entire body mechanics and learn to shift. So what are we looking for? Shoulders and hips, elbows and knees, shoulders, hips, elbows and knees. That's the 6 box, okay? The next thing is the X. Just put your hands up like this. That way. All right, so when he swings, there's an X like that. That's the power line. There's an X like that. That's the power line. Thank you. So I want you to imagine there's a cable that pulls me. The cable that pulls me on this side, this other hand, is important because it pulls. As it pulls, it makes me contract. Now from here, I can expand. So as I'm pulling and I'm shifting my weight, you can see I'm driving into the ground. We need to develop this kind of mechanic. So even when we start to move, we are starting to move with our body and not just the sword. Does that make sense? So let's give you guys 30 seconds to move like that, get warmed up. Ready? And go. Move. Shoulders, hips, elbows and knees, and make an X. Now while you do the X, add the figure 8. A figure 8 is really good for body mechanics. So as I go here, I can make a figure 8, upward figure 8, this way. Step and move, and see if you can keep the connection to the ground as you move. That's what we're looking to do. So you're moving, bouncing off the ground. Ready? Go. Now, when you take a boxing stance, all right, when we get to empty hands, just what have we learned with the knife? We learned that we've got to protect the center line. Oftentimes, if you see boxing like this for the street, you're leaving this as an opening because of the gloves. So if I got gloves on, my opponent's got gloves on, it closes this line up. We need to be here. This hand has to be either here or here protecting your center line. That's the most important thing we're looking to do. So keep this hand not over here, here. If you think about it, when people do this, what are they actually saying? They're saying protecting the hook line. The hook line's longer. The jab line is straight down the center. So what'll end up happening, can we borrow you, D? Okay, keep your hand out there. So if his hand's out there, that's a faster line. So what's he gonna do to block it if it's there? He's gonna start doing that. Then when he comes there, I'm just gonna go around and smack him. But if his hand's already in the center, it's easier for him to do that. Does that kind of make sense? I'm closing the faster line, and then he's forcing me to go around. So he knows that's the only place to go. Does that make sense? But if you keep the hand out there, then he starts to chase the hand, ready? He starts to chase the hand and I can just run it around. So we gotta make sure that our posture is here, all right? Next, get the shoulder up over here. The other thing is you want a little lower stance. This is the era of that grappler. If you're up here on your feet, they're gonna shoot, D. If I'm up here like this, he's just gonna shoot under, bang, and down, and I'm on my way down to the ground. We have to equate our art to the time that we're in. When I was growing up, everybody's watching WWF, right? I refuse to call it WWE, okay? I was watching WWF. And in WWF, you saw the moves and people did them. Now what's everybody watching? The UFC. It doesn't take much for a big guy just to just duck down, be like, oh, I'm just gonna pick him up and slam him. Does that make sense? That's what's transferring. So I need to have a posture that if I'm entering, and when we do our stick fighting, where are we? We're down here. We're used to moving down here already. So use that as an advantage and come from here. But the next thing is we don't want to be stationary. We want that back foot up. And I want my back to come like this, like a hood of a cobra. So now I'm ready to spring and bounce and move. And I'm already here, so if he goes to shoot, I can meet him. If he goes to shoot, I can turn around and I'm loaded to still jump on him. You see, I'm athletic. I know there's a lot of guys here from the Bay. How many people like watching basketball? Right? NBA season's back on. You see somebody do a crossover, what are you gonna see? You're gonna see athleticism. Filipino martial arts is about athleticism. It's about getting down low and moving. So that's what we have to remember.